Around the horn. Did I have that?
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Coach.
Excellent. How are you?
So I'm doing great. Again, we get to talk about basketball. It's one of my favorite subjects. So
It's always a good, that's
but
always a good thing. I know. And we're not doing 87 of these, so you and I have a lot more energy. Um, when we do like 5 or 6 of these, sometimes we batch them if people don't know. Yeah, it can get
in
long,
case you're
but
wondering why, if you're watching this on YouTube, our clothes are the
the
same.
exactly same. I'm actually
Although I have my game changer
I know.
shirt on,
Mine's in the
so
wash. I was wearing it, people at Game Changer, and we do love Game Changer, don't we?
yeah, go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Go check out Game Changer, especially now that if you're listening to this, you're in the middle of your season, in the midst of your season. Great tool to track stats. Uh, Parents can watch live if they can't be at the game. Just an amazing tool to do all kinds of game management. Go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops.
Awesome. And what else do we
So what
have
are we
to
talking
share,
about
Coach?
today?
What else do we
Well,
have
we'll
to
come
share?
back.
Was that it? Is
Let's
that all
tease
we're going to
something. No,
share?
we got no. We'll come back. We'll come back
Okay.
to that. Let's talk about
Okay.
what we're going to talk about post game talks though.
Okay.
We're going to do that. So yeah, we got a couple more things to share. So stay
We
tuned.
do.
We got some special offers
Oh,
and some amazing stuff. So,
we
but we're
do.
going to talk post game talks. One of my subjects that I kind of go back and forth on, tweaked over the years. Um, so I'd love to get your thoughts once we dive into that. But what makes for an effective post-game talks? What do you talk about? Do you not do it? What's the focus? What should the focus be? Wins versus loss, a little bit different. Because if you think about it, at the end of the game, on a win or on a loss, right? Parents want to leave, kids want to leave.
Right.
On a win, they just want to go high five all of their buddies, especially at the high school level, but at the grade school level, right? They're all excited, they're amped up. Maybe a better time to do the talk, right? But that's one of the challenges. Uh, but my philosophy is I think you should do something. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, again, it can be, I think, there's a couple things. First of all, they don't hear anything you say. All the hard losses I've had, and
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
the great wins I've had, they really don't hear what you're saying at all
Mm,
after the game.
yeah.
Um, so I think short is good.
Hmm.
Um, I getting upset or anything like that it just anyway, short is sweet is that at that point I'm gonna tell you there's not a lot of teachable things that are going to happen. They're either going to be an emotional high or emotional low. They're either going to have won or lost. There's shifts at that point. Um, but I think a lot more teaching if you want to get some points across can much easier to do it after a win and say
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
won and we escaped here, but we didn't do this, we didn't do this, and we didn't do this kind of thing.
Hmm.
More likely to get something out of it than I think, than after a loss and they're mad and blah 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 blah. So I think that's one of the big things I think for yeah. Anyway, I think that's one of the
That's one of
bigger
the things.
things
Yeah.
moving forward is keep it short. No one wants to have a 35-minute conversation. I've had them in my 35 years. I've had the sophomore team or the JV team has been sitting on the bus for 45 minutes after we've had a
Mm.
loss that we shouldn't have had. Um, but I can name all of those. It's like that usually doesn't do any good. And it's usually, coach repeating himself 3 times. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's the teachable moment is the next time. The teachable moment is
In the next
um
practice, you mean, or
yeah, the next
yeah.
practice, the next time you see them, maybe 30 minutes, maybe you're playing in a tournament, you're playing 3 games, you just lost a tough one. You say a couple words, they go, then the 20 minutes before the next tip off, they might be refocused at the youth level.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that.
So, yeah, one of the things I do is at the end is I go around the horn asking everybody I ask them one question: whose game did you like and why? Doesn't matter, win or loss, just whose game did you like? And the reason is that it fits into our culture. I want them to recognize someone else. And again, obviously that is, in a loss, that's important as well, that they're still focused on the positive of the game, not the final score, but whose game did you like? Who really impressed you? It's like, and they know it by now what I mean. At first I tell them the details. Like, I just want you to recognize someone who you like, wow, that just wowed you during the game. Maybe, they held their composure. Maybe they hit some game-winning shots. They hustled, whatever kind of goes back to our red dot framework, which I've talked on the show a lot about. I want you to focus on that. And then I just ask one person. I may pinpoint them, or I say, hey, I just want one person to raise their hand. And this is the question I ask them. What's one thing we
Huh.
need to go back to the lab and work on? I always call practice the lab, right? Because we're experimenting in there, right? And I look at it that as we're experimenting, trying new
It's a
things. And
test. It's a test. It's a
yeah,
laboratory. Yes.
yeah. So what's one thing we need to go work on, win or loss, right? In a win, there's something to work on. And I always talk, and I'm going to do a better job of this in the post game too, is, you know, um, learning versus losing, right? We either win or we learn. So I want to bring that up towards the end of the game. What did we learn? What was the big takeaway today? So I make that more, I don't really focus on it. There's like, of course, there's some times when I'm like, yeah, we should have lost that game. Like, we had it, right?
Right.
Um, I try to stop myself. They know it. If they want to talk about it, I let them talk about it, but then I just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
I think it is. It's like sometimes I'm going to challenge the coaches listening. Sometimes it's about you, your processing. Go in the parking lot and talk to
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Be
That
honest,
is
for
so
someone that's
true.
done it 35 years, it's you
Yeah.
processing more than the
Right.
kids process.
That's right. That's right.
So what I
Yeah.
tell you is just leave them and go up. I've done this. I've left them and
Yeah.
then I've walked around school 17 times, just like,
Yeah.
you know, fine. They don't need to hear that. That's just me being like, I need to get it out. Or I'll do it with my assistant coaches and like, or you got to go talk to your wife or whatever it is. Go process
Yeah.
it, but you don't need to process it with the 12-year-old. Like,
No. Yeah, no, it's true. But
it's
I think
part,
that, so I think that thing going into that is one to just set the tone, like,
yes.
right, gather them a circle, you know, in a calm setting, keep the tone positive, supportive, right, regardless of the game outcome.
Right.
Um, for wins, right, emphasize the, efforts and strategies, highlight, like I said, maybe highlight the key players and individuals. I do that win or loss. Um, talk, maybe you mentioned a few people that you liked, their contribution to the game. For the losses, I mean, honestly, nothing really changes. But for me, we still talk about the learning opportunities, win or loss. Um, we talk about the areas of improvement, win or loss. So it doesn't really change the tone, maybe a little bit somber, but sometimes I told you, if you go back a couple podcasts ago, I talked about this. We were getting our butts kicked, and our goal was just to score, 6 points in a particular quarter, and we achieved that goal. That post-game conversation was all about, we put a goal out there and we achieved it. It wasn't about that we just lost by 30. It was about, hey, and that wasn't from me, that was from them, which was awesome because I put the focus on scoring those. Next area is just keep it short, 5-10 minutes max, depending on the age, maybe, just a couple rah-rahs and away they go if they're third, fourth grade. Um, Talk about, the constructive, feedback. When you do provide feedback, we and us conversations, because we're in this together. Don't point fingers at them. Uh, it's a we thing, right? We're part of the team.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of how I think about, the post game.
Yeah. I just think you gotta making rash. This is a good life lesson here. Making rash decisions or rash,
Right.
like it's like
Yeah.
you're not. This is again going back. I hate to talk about game changer, but this is like maybe you got to go home and watch the film.
No,
You know,
yeah. Because what you record up here
is
is
different.
different,
It's so different.
right?
So
And the playback is
gc.com
different.
forward
Yeah. So
slash coaching youth
coaching.
hoops. You
Yeah.
could go home and watch it. The number of times I've said like da 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 da, and it's wrong.
Yeah. Oh
I was
yeah.
like,
Right.
ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that wasn't the issue. Maybe it was our defensive conversion was the issue, and it wasn't that we weren't running the play, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Film doesn't lie. Film don't lie. It just
That's right.
doesn't. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, so be rational, short, sweet, that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, I think a lot of that is the key. Um, again, hate to pimp it out, but that's game changer that's what you basically got to look at it, kind of figure out. Most of the time I'm wrong and I'm a stats teacher, unless I have the stats
Yeah.
right in front of
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why you don't want to, just keep it short, sweet, be calm. Win or loss, have the same post game share the same information, post game wrap up, whatever you want to call it. You should tell maybe your tone changes a little bit. Sure, those games that I've been disappointed in losing, but again, go back to the lab, figure out one big takeaway. And again, that's more about them thinking. I want them to think. So
right.
and be part of the solution, right? It's not just me telling them what to do. So
All right,
you
before
can
you go
say that
through
at
the
third
summary,
grade. So
coach, let's you said we had a couple of things we wanted to share. We definitely want to talk about the weekly clinic because I'm super excited about the weekly clinic. We're trying to make
yeah,
it for the
absolutely.
coaches.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, coach. I cut you off. Didn't mean to do
No,
that.
no, go ahead. No, I
But
muted myself.
oh, okay, yeah, well, I was super excited about the weekly clinics as well. If you go to coachingyouthhoops.com/weekly dash coaches dash clinic, again, weekly dash coaches dash clinic, go check it out. This is basically taking 50 years of experience here between coach and I and boiling it down into weekly lessons. So there's a lot of noise on the internet, and coaches are always trying new things and wasting time. We've basically took out all the clutter, uh,
Got rid of the
and
noise.
got rid of the noise and basically gave you a game plan. Follow these things to do. Again, go to coachingyouthhoops.com/weekly dash coaches dash clinic for more information on that.
Go over and check that out. All right, so give a quick summary here of what your thoughts on post game are, coach.
Yep, set the tone. Number
Yep.
one, focus
Take deep
focus
breaths. Three
areas for
deep
wins or
breaths
loss.
before you go in the
Yeah,
locker
three
room.
deep breaths.
Three
There
deep
you go.
breaths. There
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go.
Uh, my philosophy is win or losses, the post game should be the same at the youth level. Doesn't matter. Keep it short. Be prepared for some constructive feedback if you want, but be encouraging and motivating. That's it.
That
Yeah,
works. All right.
that works.
Next time we talk, it will be October.
Love it.
Of Halloween, coach.
Yeah, got to think about my costume.
Uh,
All right,
yes.
coach. Till next
Wing it.
time.
All right. Till next time.